I'm Fish, your everyday millennial gamer, and today I'll be talking to you about how Guild Wars 2 restored my hopes in the genre for MMOs. I started my MMO journey in 2010 with a small Asian title called TLBB or Tian Long Babu, known as Dragonout in the United States. At the time, it was the only game that my computer setup could handle, but I completely fell in love with its world. Being thrown into a fantasy setting for the first time was an incredible experience. For the first 40 levels, I had no idea what was going on, which only added to my whole immersion to the deal. Every small, repeatable quest became a massive adventure for us. Every dungeon turned into an explorable mission. It took us years to understand the game system and truly get good at it, but honestly, it was worth every second. And sadly, in 2017, the official servers shut down, and with that, a piece of our childhood was lost. But that was just the beginning of my MMO journey. With access to better computers, I explored new worlds, starting from Forsaken World, a WoW clone back in the day, to Age of Wushu, an Asian MMO, and more recently, World of Warcraft, Black Desert Online, and Final Fantasy Online. Yet somehow, none of these worlds managed to capture my heart the way Dragonhood had done all those years ago. I resigned myself into believing that the MMO bliss that I had once achieved was forever gone, and it was just a figment of nostalgia for me. I turned to single player games, spending entire days immersed in titles like Cyberpunk 2077, Marvel's Spider Man, and Black Myth Wukong. While all these games were incredible, they eventually left me feeling isolated. I craved a world where I could interact with other players. Even though those interactive NPCs were amazing, they still weren't other players. And I was left with nowhere to look. Online forums and recommendations all pointed me towards the same three games: World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy Online, and Guild Wars 2. Despite the hype, I couldn't get into WoW. Even after spending a week reading its lore, watching videos, and spending a month trying to get into the game, with my favorite storyline, the Devil Hunter class. But still, I don't know, I just could not get into WoW. Maybe it was just because I joined it past its prime and I did not have that lingering nostalgia. As for Final Fantasy, I just didn't click with it. I couldn't enjoy its combat style, though the art and the story is amazing. I just couldn't get into it. And with that, all that was left was Guild Wars 2, a game that I had tried and discarded before even reaching level 30. Something that had no impact or any specific registration in my head linked to it. But this time, I decided to give it another shot. Inspired by an anime Shangri-La Frontier and reassured by forums posts that about how alive the game's open world felt and how the NPCs and the storylines just seemed to blend in, I dived back with an open heart and it changed everything for me. From the moment I stepped back into Tyria, I was captivated. After watching a few basic utility videos to understand the fundamentals, I entered into the world with no expectations. The game's opening level introduced me to my personal story, my story. My character wasn't just another generic adventurer, they had motivations, aspirations, and a journey all on their own. The roleplay felt like it had depth, something that rooted me in the world in a way that I truly wasn't expecting. As I ventured deeper into Tyria, I encountered legendary figures and breathtaking landscapes. Nothing felt forced or engineered. Everything unfolded organically. The leveling system was phenomenal. The story provided enough experience to get a solid start, but it encouraged me to explore and engage with the area, with the world, just to fill in those gaps. Every action felt rewarding. The hard quest system stood out. You help the villagers or the town peoples in the area that you currently are in a way that feels meaningful. It's not like your typical fetch 10 items quest or kill 10 rats quest. It's getting rid of pests in that area to help the villagers and the farmers, to gather apples to help that person who does not have another gardener. Everything felt detailed and rooted in this world. Safe to say, I was completely entranced. Exploring Tyria became my new obsession. The story was compelling, but I frequently took breaks just to roam the open world. I had the urge to not use the fast travel system and instead walk from place to place just so I could soak in this beautiful world. The maps are stunningly designed with intricate layers and hidden details that beg to be discovered. Though the game isn't truly open world, each zone is so thoughtfully crafted that the occasional loading screens never really bothered me. And then there's the mounts. Seeing other players ride gorgeous creatures with unique abilities blew me away. Each mount wasn't just cosmetic, it served a purpose and opened up new ways to explore this beautiful world. It felt like the game kept giving me more and more reasons to fall in love with it, and I couldn't get enough. Guild Wars 2 rekindled my passion for MMOs. It gave me a world that felt alive, a community that was welcoming, and an experience that felt personal. If you're looking for an online fantasy world to explore, a truly immerse yourself, I can't recommend Guild Wars 2 enough. The world of Tyria waits. Give it a try, and you might just find yourself falling in love. That's all from me. Take care.